Namaste, beautiful souls. Welcome to the sacred journey of Kal Mantra. Embrace divine grace. Let the celestial vibrations uplift your spirit and guide you toward inner peace, abundance, and divine blessings. Open your heart, chant with devotion, and awaken the infinite grace within you.
The story of Durga Puja, which erupts across Bengal in a spectacular 5-day symphony of art, sound, and fervent devotion, is far more than a cultural festival or a religious obligation. At its heart, thrumming beneath the rhythmic beat of the Dhak and visible in the serene gaze of a million clay idols, is the retelling of an ancient cosmic battle. This is not a mere myth relegated to dusty scriptures. It is a living, breathing allegory so profound and meticulously crafted that it serves as a diagnostic map for the human condition, explaining the very nature of existence, the architecture of consciousness, and the perennial struggle between light and shadow that defines our journey. The narrative of the goddess and the demon is a master key, unlocking layers of psychological, philosophical, and spiritual truth that remains startlingly relevant, offering a timeless blueprint for victory in the battles we each face within the quiet confines of our own minds and in the chaotic theater of the world. It begins, as all great struggles between order and chaos do, with a paradox born of pure intention gone awry. The antagonist, Mahishasura, whose name literally means the buffalo demon, is a figure of immense complexity. To label him simply as evil is to misunderstand his fundamental nature and, consequently, the profundity of the lesson he embodies. His essence represents the formidable, shape-shifting power of the untamed, unchecked ego, the raw, primal identity that believes itself to be separate and supreme. His origin story is crucial. He was born of the union between a demon king and a she-buffalo, a symbol already hinting at the duality of his being, a capable intellect fused with a potent, stubborn, and inert animalistic force. Mahishasura was not without merit. He undertook severe, unimaginable penance, tapasya, to appease Lord Brahma, the creator. This tapasya represents a formidable willpower and focus, a power that, when directed by a purified consciousness, can lead to enlightenment. However, in Mahishasura, this power was driven by ambition, not enlightenment, by the desire for invincibility, not liberation. His reward was the boon he requested and received, that no man, nor any god Deva, could ever kill him. Flawed by the inherent patriarchy of his perspective and his utter contempt for the feminine, it never occurred to him to include woman in this clause. This boon is the first critical layer of the allegory. It represents the clever, legalistic loopholes the ego constructs to ensure its own survival. The ego is not brute stupidity. It is often brilliantly intelligent, capable of leveraging the very laws of the universe or society to entrench and protect itself. It believes itself to be cleverer than the system. Empowered by this perceived invincibility, Mahishasura unleashed a reign of unchecked tyranny upon the three worlds. He drove the Devas from their celestial abodes and plunged creation into darkness. Adharma. This chaos is the direct result of the ego's dominion. A world where the self-centered I is king, where compassion is weakness, where possession is power, and where the subtle, harmonious rhythms of the cosmos are drowned out by the cacophony of selfish desire. The gods, bound by the very law of the boon they were compelled to honor, found themselves powerless against an evil that their own system had inadvertently legitimized. They faced an impossible paradox: how to uphold divine law while simultaneously defeating a force that had weaponized that very law against them. Their solution was one of breathtaking unity and profound symbolism. Recognizing that a fragmented response would be futile, they gathered in a council of despair and then, in a moment of brilliant synergy, pooled their collective divine energy, their Shakti. This was not a mere combining of powers. It was a sublime surrender of their individual identities into a singular, focused purpose. From this concentrated essence of their collective fury, their compassion, their wisdom, and their unwavering will to protect and restore balance to creation, a magnificent, terrifying, and beautiful goddess was born. A blinding light coalesced into form. And she was Durga, the inaccessible one, the formidable manifestation of the divine feminine principle. Her very origin story conveys the second great lesson, that true evil, the kind that is protected by its own clever loopholes, legalisms, and brute force, cannot be defeated by a single aspect of righteousness. It requires a unified collective force, a convergence of all that is good, powerful, and discerning. Courage alone is reckless without wisdom. Wisdom is passive without power. Power is destructive without compassion. Durga is the embodiment of holistic strength. Her 10 arms held the combined weapons of all the gods: Shiva's trident, Vishnu's discus, Varna's conch shell, Agni's spear, Vayu's bow, Surya's arrows, Indra's thunderbolt, Kabura's mace, Brahma's kamandalu, and a lotus from Himalaya. Each weapon is a specific power, a specific virtue, donated willingly and essential for the battle ahead. She rode into battle on her lion, itself a symbol of unwavering power, courage, and dharma, its roar the sound of unassailable truth that shakes the foundations of falsehood. The battle that ensued was not a swift, decisive strike, but a grueling 9-day and night conflict, representing the Navratri. This duration is itself a metaphor for the relentless, exhausting, and protracted struggle between our higher consciousness, the goddess, and our own inner demons, the Asura. Mahishasura, in his arrogance and cunning, did not fight fairly. He constantly changed form, from a roaring buffalo to a charging lion, to a mighty elephant, to a giant warrior. This shape-shifting is the third and perhaps most relatable lesson of the story. It represents the deceptive and ever-evolving nature of the ego and adharma. The ego never attacks directly under its own banner. It slithers into our thoughts and disguises. As the lion of pride after success, the buffalo of stubborn resistance to change, the elephant of overwhelming addiction or desire, or the giant of seemingly justified anger or jealousy. It is a master of disguise, making its manifestations difficult to recognize and thus to combat. It attacks not with a roar, but with a whisper of doubt, a seduction of greed, a justification for hatred. Yet, for every deception, for every new form of attack, Ma Durga had a precise answer. Her unwavering focus and the multitude of weapons at her disposal signify that the fight against internal and external darkness requires a full arsenal of virtues. We cannot face the lion of pride with the discus of discernment alone. We need the trident of courage to pierce through the illusion of our own self-importance. We cannot defeat the buffalo of inertia with just the sword of wisdom. We need the thunderbolt of decisive action to shatter its stubbornness. The lotus she holds is perhaps the most beautiful symbol. It represents purity and the ability to remain engaged in the mud of the world's negativity without being stained by it, to perform one's duty with detachment and grace. The battle is a detailed guide to spiritual warfare, demanding adaptability, patience, and the application of the right virtue at the right time. The final victory on the 10th day, Vijayadashami, is the ultimate climax, as Mahishasura, in a final act of deception, emerged from the carcass of his buffalo form in his true demonic shape. Ma Durga pinned him down with her foot, a gesture symbolizing the firm grounding of consciousness in reality, and pierced his heart with Shiva's trident. This is not a celebration of violence or vengeance. It is a sacred allegory for the moment divine consciousness triumphs over the inert, brute force of the separate ego. the ego's final, true form is revealed. Not a powerful adversary, but a limited, isolated entity that, when pierced by the penetrating light of awareness, the trident, simply dissolves. The heart is targeted because the ego's seat is in the sense of individual separation, and the ultimate weapon is transcendent consciousness, which unifies and heals. This victory is not just hers. It is a promise and a potentiality that resides within every one of us. The entire epic is an internal drama. Mahishasura is not an external monster to be slain by a distant goddess. He is the inner demon of arrogance, of unbridled desire, of ignorance, of hatred that each individual must confront. Every time we choose compassion over hatred, truth over convenient deception, selflessness over greed, or patience over anger, we reenact this eternal battle on a microcosmic scale, and we emerge victorious. The grand external festival of Durga Puja, in all its dazzling art, joyful noise, and collective effervescence, is therefore a massive, externalized reminder of this inner potential. It is a communal recharging of our spiritual resolve, a symbolic reset that empowers us to face our own personal Mahishasuras, whatever forms they may take in our lives, relationships, and societies. The goddess does not fight for us. She embodies the strength we already possess collectively, urging us to integrate our own scattered weapons of virtue and engage in the noble fight for our own liberation. Her victory, celebrated with such fervor, is a testament to the belief that no matter how deep the darkness, how clever the demon, or how long the night, the dawn of consciousness will always, inevitably break through.
Struggling with health, financial worries, wealth, relationships, or career? Don't let these challenges hold you back. Harness the ancient power of authentic Rudraksha, planetary remedies, and Vedic astrology to restore balance and attract success. But act fast. These sacred remedies are in limited stock. Visit callmantra.com today to transform your life.
If this resonated with you, join our spiritual journey. Your support keeps us growing. We'd love to hear your thoughts. So like, comment, share with friends, and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.